Morning, crew. Am I late? Are you early? I think I'm bang on, actually. It looks like it's 8:30 on the laptop, so all good. Got a little prize in the background. Look at that. I'm in the way, really, aren't I? There you are, look. You have a good look. And more about that very shortly. Just let me get set up first, and we'll let a few more arrive. Let me know on the audio and the visual as well, if you can, just so I know it's all good. Now then. Can't miss the laptop. You can do it. Have we got internet? We have. That's good. Right. I just want to get us fired up so I can see all the comments. Oh, there we are. Look. Wow. I've been recommended to me. That's fantastic. Right. We'll get rid of the volume. And we'll skip all these adverts that keep going out. There we go. Right, Roger Heaps. Good morning from Bluff. -2 degrees here this morning. I must come and see you, Roger, next time I'm down in Invercargill, to be honest, because you're not too far away. Jim, what's happening today? Good morning, Jim. Great to have you on board, sir. I'm pleased you could make it because I know you've got a busy day. Igor's Dobrusgis. Where is the mechanical master? Well, I wouldn't call myself that, to be honest. I do what I can. I'm here. Good morning. Jeremiah Lilli. Good afternoon from North Carolina, I believe that is. Brandon Mazukwitz. Must be waiting for his coffee. I had to make my own coffee this morning. I did. And it's a good one. Now, hang on a minute. Oh, top tip, just to let you know, if you're ever out and about like I am on the road all the time, and I spend probably 50% of my time at the moment living out of hotels. In each of the hotels here in New Zealand, we've got little trays full of teas and coffees and stuff. Take it all. Take it home. By the time I get back after a 2-week trip, I have a bag full of coffees and tea bags and sugar and stuff. Lasts us for ages. I haven't had to buy a jar of coffee for, well, I can't remember the last time I bought a jar of coffee. So there you go. When you're staying in the hotel, take the freebies home with you. Right, where do we get to? Hamad Madi from Pakistan. Good morning, Hamad. And Mixed Mowers. Yo from the UK. How is it, brother? Long time no see. Well, last Sunday, maybe. I think it was. Where did we do it? Oh, we did a live stream from here, I think, last Sunday. Busy. Brandon, good morning, Andy. And Ken Pickerel. Hey, Andy. Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Brandon. Right. Mechanic is not mechanic without coffee. So true. Mixed Mowers. I missed it, mate. Sorry, mate. Well, we're here now. Well done. UK Weekend Workshop. Good evening from Cornwall, UK. Good morning, UK Weekend Workshop. That's a fair mouthful, isn't it? So what's this morning's live stream all about? Well, the core element, and I say this very loosely because you guys tend to take me up on all sorts of different tangents. I'm just going to see if I can move the camera a bit so you can get a bit more of the bike. There you go, look. How's that? Because this morning is about the bike. There. Is that going to work? If I sit back a bit? That's sort of going to work, isn't it? Sorry, crew. I know it's horrible having the camera move when you're actually already on live. That'll work. I'll speak up a little bit. So this morning is about this particular motorcycle on the hoist. Now, first of all, does anybody recognize it? There's your first challenge. What do you think it is? I know what it is, or pretty much know what it is, although I want to learn some more about it. So the second part is you may have some experience, knowledge, adventures, whatever, on this particular model of motorcycle. So tell me. Now I'm going to work flat out on the old comments. Keith Stevens. Hey, Andy from Arizona. Good morning, Keith. Hamad Madi, I'm poor technique mechanic here in Pakistan. So you're a poor technical mechanic in Pakistan. Well, yeah, I mean, none of us mechanics get paid that well, to be honest. Mohammed, got to learn some techniques. You do. You'll always be learning. Believe me, things are always changing, and you're always learning new stuff. Now, what else have we got? Off-road fan. Hey Andy, how much did I miss from your live stream? You haven't missed anything yet. We've just got going, to be honest. You're all good. Jim K, do think mics would have helped the audio during the tie-down video? Absolutely. Totally would have helped. Didn't happen. I didn't appreciate how noisy it was in their workshop. And believe me, it's an absolute godsend the audio was even recognizable at all. Most of that filming, Jim, was done with the phone right next to my head, or next to my mouth, with Eddie pretty much stood right next to the phone on the other side, and I was filming like this. It was so noisy in there; it was unbelievable. And yes, mics would have made a massive difference. But you've got to remember, I only use a phone to do all my videos, so I can probably Bluetooth one mic to it. But that does then bring in further potential for technical problems. I don't think you can Bluetooth or link two microphones to a phone and still be able to record both channels. I don't know, not that technical. But no, made the mistake, didn't appreciate how noisy it was in there, because you can't hear that noise from the outside. It's all sound deadened and stuff. So apologies, but actually, when I edited the video, it wasn't too bad. Sure, I had to bring the volume up quite a bit, especially in the office, because we were stood quite a long way from the camera, and there was that natural sort of hiss, that white noise in the background, but not a lot I could do, to be honest. I'm a poor mechanic. I don't have all the posh editing stuff to get rid of that kind of thing. But good point, Jim. You are right. And something further down the line that I really need to start to explore. But as soon as you start going into, better cameras, mics, the amount of gear that you've got to carry around is unbelievable. And the cost involved is ridiculous. And you tend to constantly strive for upgrades, spending more and more money on better cameras. And to be honest, it sounds like I'm being really honest this morning, to get an equivalent proper video camera that's as good as what phones can do, and you're only on the selfie camera at the moment, you end up spending quite a few $1,000s, and they're quite bulky and you need more batteries and stuff. So I don't know. I like the flip out the phone job and grassroots kind of filming. Just get on with it. It was like a fly on the wall sort of insight into how they made those straps, but I found it really, really interesting. I am actually very disappointed as to how well that video is done. There's been not that many views. I think we're about 600 odd views now. It's been up for 24 hours. That's pitiful compared to some of the other videos, but I do think that it's one of those kind of long-term videos that will grow over time. A bit like that trailer, how to make a trailer axle. That really has taken off at the moment. I'm very impressed by that. But hey, tis what it is. Now, oh, sorry, we've jumped up. Let me go back a little bit. Right, so yeah, Jim, you're right. We should have used mics. Just didn't have time. Car Guy 72, good morning, Andy, and good morning, crew. Good morning, Car Guy 72. I'm going to keep slipping my coffee because otherwise it goes cold. John Tyson, 754. You are correct, sir. However, what model and, if you're on it, what year do you think it could be? Keith Stevens, 754. Absolutely. Al Elish, good evening, Andy. Good morning, evening, Al. Weekend Workshop. That Honda is looking a lot better than Tool Girl Holly's farm bike. It is, and this is not my bike. I have been, if Alan's watching this, I don't know if he is or not, but I've been badgered in a nice way since before lockdown here in New Zealand to take a look at this bike for Alan. If you remember, we did have one of his other bikes down. It was another Honda. It was an inline 6, if I recall correctly. And on that particular bike, it was a quick assessment to see, what we could do to get it on the road. and to try and get it running, which we did. We got it running, found that 4 out of the 6 carbs were leaking, and the exhausts were rotted through, couldn't be welded up really. And it sort of came, well, everything hinged around the exhaust system for it. Couldn't get any for a reasonable price. So I believe Alan got a great offer on the bike and flicked it on, because it was quite a rare machine, that one. Much to his wife's delight, because, you know, the garage was full of bikes, as it always is. And then he went out and bought a Triumph Bonneville. He did. And, well, yes, Mrs. Allen is, so he reports at least. I don't know whether he just jests or not, but Mrs. Allen is not over happy again now. But we'll find out. So we've got this one here, and I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. How are we doing? The plan originally, and if you've been following all the live streams and videos and stuff, I will have mentioned that I've got another project bike coming in, and it's going to be a full rebuild, full restoration. Not quite the case anymore. Alan has had this bike running. It doesn't run at the moment. We did try the other day. I think the fuel's gone off in the carbs. Needs the carbs draining and stuff. And the engine is fine. It's sweet. So it just needs a service, basically. You know, valve clearances and a decent service going through it. So Alan also, because of the delay in making a start on the bike and plans changing a bit, the bike has to be ready for December, because Alan's son is coming across and he would like him to ride it. And they're going to go for a ride. So no longer is it a year project. It's now really 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, call it what you like. So we've reviewed our plans. I need to go through the bike and see what needs to be done to get the bike through compliance. Unfortunately, the bike, it was New Zealand new in, I've made some notes, actually did a bit of research before I came on. That's probably why you were all waiting a little bit. It was registered brand new here in New Zealand on the 12th of March, 1976. Now, I don't believe it's a 1976 bike. Because normally New Zealand stock, the bikes, take a while to get here, they still do, and they tend to stick in stock for quite some time before they get registered. So it may well have been sold in 1976 and registered on the 12th of March, but it sure as hell isn't going to be a 1976 model bike. So bear that in mind. It's going to be older than that. What else can I tell you? Should I tell you the registration? No, because there's a procedure or there's a facility that I can go through here in New Zealand for any vehicle, and it's open to the public. And it's a website called Car Jam. That's one word, car as in CAR, and then jam as in jam sandwich, or police car. Yeah, Car Jam, one word. You can go on there and you can put in the registration number. Now, this bike's registration. So see how clever you guys are. Here you go. See you can work this one out. Registration number is 3232 BQ for Qbert, R for Robin. 32 B for Bertie, Q for Qbert, R for Robin. There you go. Go find out what this bike is, because that's exactly what I did this morning. Right, back to the comments quickly before they all disappear. Mohammed Maddy, Honda 200. No, it's much bigger than that. Although I did used to own a Honda CM200 twin. I had a few of those. And a CD200 Bentley, which was a hideous bike, but the same engine, I believe. Oh my word, what's going on here? Hang on, control the comments, Andy. Right. Mixed mowers, yeah, the Honda looks great. It's actually really tidy. It's not concourse, believe me, but it's very tidy. Richard Action. Hi, Andy from Somerset. Sorry to hear about the floods in New Zealand. Floods? What floods? I'm totally unaware of any floods. Sure, it's been raining a fair bit, but I'm not... where's my cigarettes? And a lighter. There we go. Floods, whereabouts? Tell me. I don't know. You know more than I do. I've just been driving around. I had a meeting on... in fact, I was driving nearly all day Friday, out towards Gisborne, and then back to Taupo, and then home. Don't really listen to the radio, because the radio reception here in New Zealand, as soon as you get out of the towns, is crap, to be honest. Where are we? Jim K. It was a great video. So cool how they are made. Absolutely, Jim. I mean, sure, with a lot more equipment and maybe even what would have been really helpful would have been a camera person, because then I could have been in the video a bit more. But you weren't there to watch me anyway, to be honest. But there was a lot of talk with just pan shots. You know, and there was no retakes, there was no rehearsals, there was no discussions beforehand. It was just as you saw it. That was a raw video. Sure, I edited it up a little bit because there was a couple of bits that pieces that we didn't want in the video, but you know, it was a single take essentially, which was pretty cool. And I was in and out of that place in an hour and a half, which I couldn't believe. I'd allocated most of the day to do that video. AP Honda Rebel AP. Wonder who that could be. It's not a Honda Rebel AP, I don't believe, unless it's a nickname. And no, it's not. It's not Rebel. Mohammed Madi. Andy, you sir must make videos on how electric circuits work, and your way is understood by me easily, please. I will be waiting for that. I'll put it on the list. I've got lots of plans, and I mean, obviously the channel's going to go into retirement. That's the ultimate aim, is when Andy finishes working for his current employer. From that point on, it will be retirement, and I'll be working from home, and I'll be doing nothing but making you guys videos, because my overheads at this property, now that I'm living in my own house, are greatly, and all the kids have moved out, by the way, which is double-edged sword. I do miss them, but the bank account doesn't, if you know what I mean. Then, you know, things are cheaper to live here, so I don't need to earn as much, which means I can take a hit on the old income and actually just do something I enjoy doing, which is this very much. John Tyson, 1971. Could well be. That number rings a bell. I remember Alan talking about it. Keith Stevens sent a link for manuals to your Facebook, just in case. That was another thing I was going to talk about. So once we've identified this particular bike, and I've given you the registration number, so if you go onto Car Jam, you'll get the chassis number and the engine number and the frame number and the history of the bike and everything. It is currently, I've been told it's been deregistered, but the number plate is still showing on Car Jam as being live, which goes against that deregistration. So there is a chance, there is a very, very outside chance that the rego is on hold. And doing the research, and you guys can find this out now, the last warranted fitness done on this bike was December the 31st, which is a bit odd, New Year's Eve. I suppose it'd be in the morning, 2007. So it was last legally on the road 12 years ago, basically. 12 and a half years ago. Now, but so yes, service manual. I need either a Haynes would work, which I can get online anyway, if need be, but I prefer the genuine Honda service manual. But whether somebody's taken the time to scan that all into a PDF, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So thank you, Keith. I will take a look at that. Much appreciated. Weekend workshop. Best to keep it simple and honest with regards to filming equipment, and you'll have more realistic and down-to-earth videos. That's what I think. I think you can easily get wrapped up in using lots of expensive camera gear, and at the end of the day, the channel doesn't earn that much. It earns a little bit, yes, and a great proportion of that I spend back on the channel again. So I would very quickly go over budget, and then it'd be like, well, I'm losing money doing this. It's starting to affect other things that I need to do as well. And I think possibly it could be the turning point to starting to lose interest. I mean, you know, it's nice to have a few dollars in your back pocket at the end of each month from putting the effort in as well. And it does take a lot of time. You know, my YouTube channel doesn't run my life, and I will never allow that, but it definitely fits into my schedule and affects my productivity through the workshop as well, because it slows things down. I mean, for example, this morning, I could be on the tools getting this bike done, but I'm not. I'm here talking to you guys, which I thoroughly enjoy, and I think it's important to do that. But you've got to weigh the whole thing up. I'm very much, you know, time is my limited resource at the moment. That's the problem, is time. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Right. James Webber. I had two of those CB750s in the UK and took one of them on a trip to St. Tropez. Excellent. Thank you, James. Appreciate that. What colour was yours? Was yours blue? Richard Johnson, CB754 K2. That's what I was looking for, the K2. Scruffy Nerf Herder, whatever that is. Japanese cafe racer or World War II restore mod. Is it a cafe racer? I don't think it is. My godfather Ted had and his son Paul had a couple of cafe races. One was I think one was a Norton, one was a BSA, and the Norton was phenomenal. It was a real long, slim fuel tank, and it was a proper race bike. This quite hasn't got the handlebars and stuff for that, I don't think. John Tyson, in the early 1970s, I used to ride one around Wellington. Holy moly. Jim Kay, were they using 17-digit VIN numbers? No, not at all, not back then. Geez, VIN numbers I don't think they even existed back then. The chassis number, well, you can get the chassis number off Car Jam. I'm not going to give everything away. But the chassis number is only 7 numbers. That's it. Other than the model at the start, which is what Honda used to do. In fact, all bikes used to do, I think. All manufacturers. Wayne O, have a shop full of Hondas from a 100 to an 1100. Giddy up. Well, I think that's Alan's underlying aim. He hasn't told Mrs. Allen yet, I don't think, but I keep jesting on, but he really should start his own little collection and open it up to the public, because he's got a few bikes now and they're very nice and they're all of very high standard and very rare. He's got an old RD 3, I think it's a 350 engine and a 250 frame, air cooled, and it's got 22 kilometers on the clock. It's practically a brand new bike, and it would have had a lot less on the clock, Alan, if you hadn't ridden it into work the other day, but I'm pleased that you did. But what a machine. Just smelling that two-stroke and hearing the noise. Those are the kind of bikes that I have a real passion for. Fantastic machines. Richard Action, Northland is bad. Well, I must have just got out of Northland in time then. I went up last Monday. Yeah, well, Monday, just gone. I drove up to Kaitaia. And yeah, there was a bit of flooding around, but as far as I was, none of the roads that I was driving were blocked because I was straight in and out same day, no problems. But yeah, there was a lot of rain, and they must have had a lot more since. Bob Burnham, I had a new 1973 CB750. Great bikes. They are fantastic bikes, especially when don't forget, this is from the era really where the Japanese were starting to really attack the English market. The British motorcycle industry were under a severe attack from bikes just like this, and a few years earlier to this as well. And when you compare a bike, the refinements of a bike like this and how it rides and handles and everything, and the strength of the frame compared to an old British bike, you can see, I hate to say it, but you can see why the British motorcycle industry really took a massive hit, and ultimately the Japanese bikes sort of won, didn't they? Really, they sort of took over. They were affordable, plentiful, super reliable, and nice to ride. They went well. They went really well. James Webber, it was around 350 quid for a used CB750 in the mid-70s. I know. Don't we all wish we bought a few more now? Tell you. So, we'll just finish the old cigarette. What a machine there. It looks really good on camera, doesn't it? Must admit. Very shiny. And unfortunately, it has been out in the rain when it came down on the trailer, much to Alan's, not disgust, but dismay. Much to Alan's dismay, I took it out of the box trailer, because I've been to go and pick it up, put it on my flatbed on my F.O. Williams, and it was raining hard all the way down to the workshop. So the bike was soaked, to be honest, but it got put straight in the garage, and it's nice and dry now, which is hence today's video. So I'm going to be filming today, which is almost a revelation. I'm going to be filming today. I was going to have a Tool Girl down today, but she's bailed out. A new Tool Girl. We won't be seeing her now. Unfortunately, she decided it's not for her. Common common theme, unfortunately, trying to get a new recruit. But now I'm going to be going through this bike and seeing what it needs for certification. I can also go online and pretend I'm going to buy some more rego for it and see if the bike is still registered. I can check that, but the rego being on hold. So it may not need to go through search, in which case it just needs to go through a warrant of fitness, which is a much easier process, but it still needs to be checked over. Now then, Mad Bren. Hi Andy, gee whiz, a CB750, what a bike. It is, it's a real bike. I do like the old school, the old style with the painted tank and all the metalwork exposed and the chrome. You know, that to me is what I call a motorcycle. You know, the modern day stuff, you know, there's a lot of plastic, a lot of panels. They're just not, they don't have the same kind of soul as the older bikes. Jim K, are you going to change the tyres? I imagine they're rather old. That is most definitely something that I'm going to recommend to Alan that he does. I know he likes to keep everything absolutely original, but you know, when it comes to tyres, you've got to be safe. And these tyres look very, very old. And again, I'll cover all that in the video I'm doing later on today. So yes, Jim, very good point there. Tyres do go off, and with a nice bike like that, the last thing you want is it to be washing out on a wet corner and getting stacked into a ditch, or even worse, against a lamppost or something. That would be terrible. Not just for the rider, but for the bike as well, to be honest. So we've got to do the restoration or the repairs or whatever with safety in mind for sure. No Ahad. I can never pronounce it. Sir, I love your teaching method. Please make a video for old school content. Points ignition into electronics. Yes, good point. And sat here on the bench when I was down in Christchurch, and I think I covered this last Sunday. I have got a points. It's a bit grubby. I haven't cleaned it yet. A points distributor. Yeah, look. Now I know it's not really old, but that doesn't matter too much. It's got points in it. It's actually off a Subaru Justy. Off a 3-cylinder Subaru Justy, may I add. Yeah, there's a dizzy cap. 3 cylinders, not 4. But the plan is, the lads down at Kiwi Auto Salvage in Christchurch very kindly gave me that distributor after I told them what I was going to do with it on the YouTube channel. And I'll be doing the first in a series of videos covering various types of ignition systems. And that video will be about, you know, how points ignition works and the disadvantages of points ignition, and really a bit of theory behind why manufacturers have gone away from points ignition onto, you know, CDI ignition. And then ultimately when fuel injection came along, we gave the ECU control over the ignition side of things as well. So that's going to be the first step in a series of videos that are probably going to go out over the next few years. It's not something I'm going to do on a regular basis. But while I've got the resources for that, there'll be a video on points ignition, and I'm going to buy a new set of points so I can show you how to set up a set of points in that distributor as well. And we're going to use the Pico to measure the dwell. The dwell is the charging time or the period of time that the points are closed, when there's current flowing and charging up the primary coil. So yeah, I don't have a dwell meter, so we're going to use the scope for that, and we're also going to spin it up to various RPM, slowly increasing the RPM to see what happens when the RPM gets high, basically. And we're going to measure the secondary voltage, the HT voltage, and see how that's affected by engine RPM as well. It should be really interesting, and I'm looking forward to doing it, because even though I taught this stuff at Unitech, we didn't actually do a demonstration using points ignition. So I'm going to put a bit of effort into it, a bit of time planning it all, and that video hopefully will be out in the next few weeks. We'll wait and see, because it's going to be, I think it's going to be it's got the potential to be a really cool video, because there's a lot of technicians out there have no idea what a set of points is nowadays. Here we go. Right. Mad Bren is the epitome of a real bike. Spokes, all chrome, etc. It is. Spoke wheels. It's the way it has to be. Although saying that, the RD350LCs are mag wheels, and I do like the RD350LCs. Big fan of those. Although I used to have a TDR 250, and that was spoked wheels, and that was a very similar engine, although it had YPVS. Richard Action, are there any exemptions for classics when it comes to the warrant? Well, only in the fact that the warranty fitness, the inspection that they put on the bike has to be based around what that bike was when it was sold new. What they can't do is impose new regulations on an old vehicle. So things like the lighting, reflectors, indicators, that kind of stuff. If you've got a really, really old motorcycle that hasn't got indicators, then when you take it for a warranty fitness, they can't fail it because it hasn't got indicators. It was designed not to have indicators. That's a good example, to be honest. Keith Stevens, no or had, yes. I would like to see a machinist course also. Well, I'm not really a machinist, to be honest. I mean, I can work the lathe. I've used a milling machine a couple of times over the years. I'm not a machinist. I can bumble my way through the lathe. I've got a few bits and pieces that work on there. And I've done quite a bit of machining on that particular lathe that's down there, look. But I wouldn't say I'm a machinist. I did Baz, who was my metalwork teacher, taught me for a year when I did GCSE metalwork. And then I went on to do A-level metalwork, but only did the first year because the school decided to cancel the course. Honestly, couldn't believe that. So upset. Now then, oh my word. Exile in Derby 51. I had a Triumph Trident of similar vintage, that Honda Triumph Tridents. I remember those. Awesome machines. Roger Heaps. Seen a 250 dirt bike of a certain brand and the carb front exhaust rear. The exhaust pipe goes around the front. Do you know of any reason for this? I don't think that's a carburetted one. I think that's fuel injected. If I'm thinking of the same bike that you are, it was all to do with getting the mass of the engine absolutely optimal for that particular bike. And by slanting the cylinder forwards, obviously they had to flip around the exhaust and the induction sides. So it was all to do with the balance of the bike, the weight distribution on the bike, nothing more. And the reason why the exhaust wraps around is because the exhaust had to be of a certain length to get the torque characteristics and the engine performance, power output, torque curve, call it what you like, that they wanted from that particular bike. And I knew that before I started working for that particular manufacturer. Hopefully, Roger, that's answered your question there. Keith Stevens, nothing says fun like setting and cleaning points on the side of the road in the rain. We used to run little Suzuki SJ410s up in the forest in England when I had the off-road driving centre. We had loads of them over a 10-year period. And you're going to hate me for this. Well, between me and the customers, we got through 327 of those Suzukis. Now, they weren't all SJ410s. Some were SJ413s, which had electronic ignition, and some were the Samurais, both Spanish and Japanese built. And again, they were electronic ignition because they had the 1300cc engines. But the SJ410 had points ignition, and I would often get called out while I was on patrol because the vehicle had gone through a deep water pool and come to a halt. I'd get there, pop the dizzy, dry the dizzy out, have a little look at the points, find that they're all pitted and probably closed up a little bit, because the heels used to wear on them. And actually get my Leatherman out and fit a new set of points in the forest and set the points gap by eye. Probably would struggle to do that nowadays because my eyesight's not as good as it used to be. Ben was doing some points adjustment on his Ford Courier pickup that he has, his Ute. Only last weekend he was contacting me through Facebook saying, "Oh, how do I set the points, Dad? I fitted them, I don't know how to set them up." And I said, "Well, get your feeler gauges," and I told him how to use them and everything. And he says, "I don't have any feeler gauges." I said, "Oh, that's not so good." "Well, you better use your thumbnail then. That's a good start." So he never cuts his nail. So he used his thumbnail as the points gap, and seemed to run okay. I said, "Well, next time you're down, as long as it's running fine, next time you're down, we'll chuck the strobe on there, and we'll do the points gap correctly with the feeler gauges. I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll set the ignition timing because you've always got to reset the ignition timing after you've adjusted the points. Otherwise, because it affects the ignition timing on those." So he was like, "Oh, okay." James Webber, both were blue. Wow, so that was probably the most popular color for those bikes. Mixed Mowers, good stream, mate. I'm off to bed. Early start tomorrow. Making me feel tired there, Mick. I've just got up. All right, Mick. Well, we'll see you next time round, matey. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it, mate. William Wallace. I remember cleaning the mini points with the side of a matchbox. Yep, you just do whatever you need to do to make it work. Jim K. On that bike with the wraparound exhaust, I also remember it put the piston in better alignment during the combustion stroke. Also, there was less piston slap. Piston skirts are so short these days. Yes, you could be right. There could be some internal benefits as well to the engine. From what I understand it, the main reason why they did it though was to get the weight of the bike properly distributed. But hey, there are probably other advantages as well, but there will no doubt be some disadvantages. Now then, Josh Benny. Hi, Andy. Sorry I can't stop long. I'm at work. Sorry, missed several of your live streams. Work has been crazy. Hope you're well. Josh, since we came out of lockdown here in New Zealand, work has been, for me, absolutely ridiculous. All the dealers that I look after across the New Zealand, both North and South Island, are all very, very busy. Workshops being the busiest part, which obviously involves me. I'm getting lots of emails and phone calls for assistance and support, which is what I do. And trying to get my dealer visits done as well, so I can get out there and actually see them and give them the face-to-face support that they need, make sure that everything's up and running for them. They've got full access to their service technical aspects and service manuals, that kind of thing, and to deal with any kind of warranty stuff that comes along. Not that there's much, but that's part of my job as well. So, Josh, good to have you on board, matey. And hey, a few minutes is great to have you on board. We've got 38 people watching and 17 likes. So there's what, I don't know, 22 people haven't liked yet. So I need to do a better job, don't I? So James Webber, my CB750 replaced a Norton Commando. That's a bloody good name for a bike, isn't it? Norton Commando. I like that. It was good. It was like going from an Escort to a Granada. Okay, so let me get these mugs out of the way first. I might revisit as well. So you all know that obviously this is the original official Andy Mechanic mug. And if you decide to get one of these, and lots of people have, which I'm amazed about, you can get this from Zazzle, www.zazzle.co.nz, and just do a search for Andy Mechanic YouTube in one word, and you'll see this mug and many, many variations as well. And you can, any of the merch, even there's some new toolbox stickers on there. I haven't got any to show you yet because they haven't arrived, because I've ordered some, but they're not here yet. There's lots of different stuff on there. Anything that you purchase to support the channel, flick through a selfie with it once it arrives to andymechanic@live.co.uk, and I'll put you in the draw, which is going to be held in December, so you've got plenty of time, to win a heap of Teng Tools merch. Oh, Diagnosed Dan. What's this? Oh, it's a YouTube thingy, right? So you're going to win some Teng Tools merch, some tools. I don't know what they are yet. Brandon's going to sort me out. I have got a socket set of my own that I'm going to put in that I haven't used yet. It's a little 1/4-inch drive. You can also, in that pack, that prize pack, is going to be a load of stuff from Forge. Now, Forge, which is on this arm there, look, Forge, they make similar stuff to Worth. Shouldn't say that. Jared's probably watching. But obviously, how can I say this? It's not going to cost you as much. It's good gear, really good gear. You've seen me use it around the workshop now for quite some time. I'm very impressed by it. And in that prize pack will be a load of stuff that Jared will dig out of the warehouse for you. In addition, I'm going to throw in some Andy Mechanic merch as well, and a jacket, which is not currently available for purchase online. So I'll get one made up specifically for the winner, for your size, so we know it fits. So yeah, if you decide to go on to Zazzle, buy anything on there, that you'll also find now a range of Tool Girl mugs. Now they're not complete, the range isn't full yet, it's not finished, but we've got Tool Girl Jade. That's the Jade mug there, look, looking gorgeous as ever. And we've got, I went for the larger mug for Lily because she's a bit of a handful, that one. There's Tool Girl Lilli doing the tires and being silly as she always is. She's a good lass, is old Lily. And the original Tool Girl, Tool Girl Harley. We all know Harley, don't we? Sat on my KTM there, look. Thoroughly enjoyed filming with Harley. She's a good lass. She's now got a really successful career as a model. And, you know, although I've tried to get her back in the workshop, she has no time to come down here and do filming. And to be honest, I couldn't afford her anyway. She's earning lots of money as a model now. So who knows? Maybe one day she'll come back for posterity. We'll wait and see. But don't hold your breath, unfortunately. Now then, where are we? UK Weekend Workshop. Pity about the new Tool Girl, but good ones are worth waiting for, and you seem to have done well so far. Correct. I'm not going to get upset about it. It's just one of those things. It's a regular occurrence. You know, it is hard to find tool girls that meet all the criteria, that are happy to get grubby and do stuff in the workshop like a real mechanic. You know, getting grease and oil under the fingernails. Lily was brilliant for that. She didn't bother at all. She was straight in there covered in grease and oil, and you know, very happy just to muck in and get on with the jobs. And finding a lass that's prepared to do that on a regular basis. Now I'm really trying to avoid having a tool girl down just for one day's filming and then never see them again. That's not what it's about. I'm looking for people that are really keen to do a long stint as a tool girl. Otherwise, I think it gets a bit false, a bit messy, to be honest. It's nice to see them develop their skills and really open up on camera, and just get used to being in front of the camera as well, it takes a while for that to happen. So you're right. You are quite right there, UK Weekend Workshop. But I'll keep looking. I will. And so, and unfortunately, Tool Girl Holly can't come down for a while. She had an operation. She did. She's okay. It's not a problem. It wasn't a serious operation, but she's been in for operations. So she can't use one of her hands for a while. So yeah, when she's back, and I'm not going to put any pressure on her to come back. She'll come back when she's ready. I know she will. She thoroughly enjoys coming down and doing the filming with us. And of course, she does enjoy wearing her new boots as well, to be fair. Now then, Jim K, how long does it take for new products to arrive Japan, USA? Are we talking about spares delivery? As regards new models of bike, New Zealand always seems to be a bit behind the rest of the world, and traditionally New Zealand has been seen as a dumping ground for previous model vehicles that haven't yet sold, especially in the car industry. If there's been a big, a shortfall in sales in a particular country, quite often those cars will get reshipped across New Zealand and disposed of here. I think the same thing happens in Australia as well. So we do see, regardless of the year that the car was registered, it might actually be a couple of years old, or have been produced 2 years earlier to the date of registration, even though it's classed as New Zealand new. So you can be very careful when you're buying stuff over here. You can end up buying the older model and thinking it's the current model. As regards parts supply, across the board, whether it's cars, motorcycle manufacturers, or whatever, here in New Zealand has been delayed tremendously. Air freight is very, very limited at the moment, and what air freight you can get is extremely expensive. From what I'm told, it's about 4 times the price to what it used to be, because there's hardly any planes coming to New Zealand. So most of the stuff coming into New Zealand now is via sea freight. I've been told now that sea freight has become overwhelmed with the amount of items to be shipped to New Zealand, and containers are on a regular basis being bumped to the next ship, or the next ship after that, to be honest. It's a real problem getting part supply for any vehicle here in New Zealand at the moment. And customers, if you are a customer here in New Zealand and you're somebody that's waiting for parts for your car, your lawnmower, your weed whacker, whatever it is, or even your motorcycle, just be patient. It's not the manufacturer, it's not the importer's fault. Turn on the news. The world is turning to shit at the moment, and it's because of that freight is being heavily affected. So you just got to put up with it. It's just the way life is. I get regular phone calls chewing my ear as to delays in parts, and there's nothing we can do about it. And believe me, for the company that I work for, we are doing everything we possibly can to get these parts here as quickly as possible. And I'm sure other manufacturers are doing the same thing. They're all doing, it's in their interests to help their customers. But there are massive limitations at the moment. There really are. Brandon, did you get extra entry for more mug photos? Did you get extra entry? I can put anything I want up on Zazzle as regards to design at the moment, but I can't include. Spilled my coffee. But I can't include the actual YouTube logo for now. But they don't seem to mind at all when it's. Let me have a look. You know, it's a shirt in the picture with the logo on. Doesn't seem to bother them at all. So that's why I decided not to include the logo on the Tool Girl mugs, because you can actually quite clearly see it on the shirts anyway. The only one that's not the case is obviously Tool Girl Harley, because at that time we didn't have the shirts for Harley, unfortunately. But I think she's pretty well recognizable now. So, you know, and besides, you know, they're pretty cool photos. I think they make up for it. And it's in the workshop. You've got the background and all the tang tools and stuff, so it is quite recognizable. Now, I need a rag. Hang on. Okay, so where are we at? Brandon, I've purchased the original mug, but when you came out with the Tool Girl mugs, I bought another. Sorry, mate, that wasn't the plan. I wasn't trying to lead you into buying two different ones, but it just, you know, I thought, I like this one. I really do like this. I think it's quite original. There's nothing else like it out there. But I got asked many, many times for Tool Girl mugs as well. So you've got Tool Girl mugs. You have. I think they're great. And obviously I have to have one of each, you know, so I'm going to put them all in a little collection somewhere. I don't know where yet. We'll wait and see. Jim K, you had a nice jacket on your tie-down video. Yes, that is the jacket, which not the jacket because that's mine, but I'll do another one the same. I'll be including a jacket like that in the prize pack, but I won't get it made up until I know who wins, because then I can get it made the right size, because there's no point in sending people or the winner stuff that isn't going to fit them. That's the most annoying thing in the world. So I'll get your size, actual measurements, so we can tailor it to suit. Yeah, I do like that jacket, and I've ridden all over Australia on a motorcycle wearing that particular jacket, and it's done really well. It's not super waterproof, but it is sort of showerproof, and it dries out really quick. John Tyson, freight is also delayed. Has delayed the arrival of my mug. Oh, John, I am sorry. I will say that these mugs, all three of them, they all arrived. I only ordered them probably a couple of weeks ago. And I was on the South Isle where I designed them all. So I was in Christchurch. So they only took 3 weeks to get here from when I ordered them, which is about twice as quick as it took to get these ones through. These took about 6 weeks to clear customs and to do the travel and to get to my doorstep. The freight is speeding up. There's no doubt about it. On some stuff, things seem to be getting here quicker. Whether they've relaxed the customs side of it here in New Zealand or what, I just don't know. But that kind of stuff seems to be getting here quicker, which sort of goes against. But it must have come air freight. It must have done. I don't know. It just got here. John Tyson, slow ship to Oz. Rose Ironworks, good morning. How are you? Evening, Andy. Oh, in fact, good evening. The Aerofast video is great, thanks. They should ship to the UK. I don't know whether they'd ship all over the world. I mean, you can contact the company directly. You know where they are now. They're in Christchurch. You know the company name. Just Google it. They've got a website. If they won't ship international, then one of their distributors might. So they'll give you a list of distributors here in New Zealand, and you can give the distributor a call or send them an email. And I'm sure that you'll find somebody that's happy to ship to anywhere in the world. Just one thing to bear in mind, though, ratchet straps are pretty heavy when you get a few of them, so the freight won't be cheap, unfortunately. But I think he was saying they sell to the US. There are agents in the US now, so they could tell you who those agents are. So you could, if you're in the US, you could deal with them. And Australia as well. They've got agents in Australia, so or distributors in Australia. So again, they can tell you who they are, and then you can contact them and be able to buy out of your own country. But no, they are really good straps. And I mean, they're not a sponsor to the channel. They aren't. They haven't given me anything for free other than those two Andy Mechanic straps. One I've got in my car holding my new toolbox in place, and the other one is up there on the beam. And they gave me Eddie very kindly gave me a netting to go over a trailer, you know, for all the loose stuff, which is really good as well. And you may well see that in one of our videos in the future. Now then, where are we? Jim K. It's going to be a while before we have to put jackets on. It's hot here. Yeah, well, don't forget the draw's not till December, so it's probably going to get really cold by then. So then you'll be able to wear it. James Webber, the new throttle position sensor did not cure the hesitation on my 1300 V-Star. $150 experiment. Okay. Now then, is your V-Star, it's going to be fuel injected, right? So maybe get the injectors cleaned, or check, and also check the fuel pressure from the fuel pump. I'm pretty sure yours is fuel injected, but I'm sure you'll put me right in about 3 or 4 minutes time. Rose Ironworks, hey dude, we are well, thanks. Excellent. Yep, we'll try that. No worries. Jim K, I thought it was interesting that they import bungees from the USA. Yeah, I mean, I've forgotten the lad's name now. Was it Angus that was doing he was doing the cutting? I should know this stuff. I forget. There's too much in my head. So Angus, I think, was in charge of cutting the straps to length using that automated machine that measures and cuts. The straps that they made me, they used the old hot wire system. Now, Angus, I was trying to explain to Angus about the Touratech straps that I used to have on when I used to do, adventure rides and stuff, which hopefully I'll be doing again at some point. The little Touratech straps they're not elastic. They don't expand. They're like a little mini tie down with a little mini clip on them. So small. So what I'm going to do, Touratech went, they closed, so I believe, and I don't think anybody else has taken them over. They shut down a few years ago. I don't know why, because they seem to sell a lot of products, but they've ceased to be, as far as I'm aware. So I do have some of the original Touratech straps still on one of the bikes. So I'm going to take one of those down to go and show Eddie at Aerofast and see if they can replicate them. Because I believe there's a niche market out there. I think they're a lot better than the elasticated type bungees. They're a lot safer for a start. And they also coil up into a smaller, compact ball, when you're not using them. So they don't take up as much room in your luggage. So I would recommend, if they can, to investigate the possibility of making some and marketing them. Because I do believe that they would do very well out of it. Because those Touratech ones were fantastic, and they were readily, they sold lots of them. So just trying to do my little bit to help them to broaden their range a little bit and fill a niche in the marketplace. Jim K, I have a good picture in my head of those mini tie downs. Yeah, I mean, I could go outside, I could take one off the bike, but it'd take me a few minutes. So maybe I'll include it in the next live stream. Maybe next Sunday I'll have one ready. I've got to remember to do that. Jim K, bungees are good for flat tires also. Oh no. Go on, Jim, tell me what you did. Zero Esp, nice bro, keep it up. I will, as always. Busy. So we'll get rid of these mugs because I don't want to knock them over. But yeah, get yourself a Tool Girl mug. They're awesome. And send me, if you get anything, send me a selfie via email, because I've sold a lot more than what's come through on email. So don't be shy. If you don't want to be in the selfie, don't worry about it. Just send me a picture of your mug in your shed, in your workshop with your tools and stuff behind it. That will put you in the draw. You don't have to be in it yourself. Right, breakfast. I do like these. They are. They're probably not very good for me, but I do like them. That's what they are. Look. Nice. I think they're full of sugar, and they're very gooey, very sweet, but man, they're nice. So Alan, the owner of this bike behind me, which is, I don't quite know the year yet. I've got to get onto Honda to verify all that, because it was registered a couple of years after it was made. So Alan has given me a load of parts, so we're going to go through them. So we've got, I haven't even looked at these yet, so we're going to find out what they are. We've got, what have we got here? Oh, there we go. Right, so we've got two handlebar grips. Obviously they're different, because one is slightly larger ID for the throttle. So those are the part numbers. If you have one of these bikes and you need some handlebar grips, there you go. They're the original part numbers. Fantastic. So we've got those. Now, what else have we got? Well, we've got an aluminium bung. So whether that's for the, I think that might be for the flywheel. I don't know. So there you go. There's another part there. Look, it looks a bit too big for a sump bung, so it might well be the for the flywheel for the timing. Don't know. Have to check it out. Might be the oil fill. Don't know. Haven't really looked at the bike yet. Ooh, what's in here? Ooh, it's a badge. Should we have a look? Where's my knife? Let's have a look. That's the part number. There you are, look. I don't know what it is. It just says badge on the back. Made in Japan, so it's quality. Man, they're good bags. Ooh, look. I'm not going to take the protective bit off, but it's a Honda badge. Very nice. I like that. Don't know where he's going to put that. I'll stick it back in the bag because it needs to be kept nice and tidy with that one. I have no idea we'd have any cosmetic stuff in here. Right, we've also got these look like, well, there's 4 of them. Oh no, hang on. So I know I'm off camera, but there's 2 of them. That's the part number. There you go, look. And they look sort of exhausty. I think they are. I think they're just the inserts for the exhaust, for the mufflers. 1, 2, but there's only 3. And it's got 4 exhausts. So I don't know why I've only got 3 of those. Maybe they only have 3 left. Right, so are they all the same part number? I think they are. 18311341900. Yes. 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 Let's have a little look at this one. Jeez. Good bags. It is. It's an insert for the exhaust. Yeah, look. It's got a little screw hole there that holds it in place. So it makes it super quiet. Look at that. It's tiny, isn't it? Tiny bore. Poor little bike. Right, so we've got 3 of those, not 4. Now, we've also got all genuine Honda parts. What the hell that is? Let's have a look. I need to know what I've got, don't I? Right. Okay. They are. Pub quiz. There's the part number. You read that? I think you can, can't you? Yes, you can read that. And that's what it looks like. Where the hell does that go? It doesn't have any threads on it. It's rubberized. And it's got an aluminium insert ring. So the rubber's molded around it inside and out. So I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. We'll put it back in the bag. It's always got to go back in the bag. Otherwise, everything turns to shit, doesn't it? Later on. Now. Right, okay. Looks like indicator stalks. Yes, it is. So we've got metal bracket, the bar, the bolt, whatever you want to call it, where it bolts to the frame at this end. It's got a little hole for the wire down the middle, and then the indicator light unit itself clamps onto there. Standard sort of Honda styling of that era. A lot of the I used to have an old Honda SS50, which was cool. Wish I still had it. Don't know where that went. And that had basically the same style. We've got two of those. Very random parts he's got here. I think he's just bought everything that Honda had left here in New Zealand for that particular model. So there's the part number for that one. I think they're both the same. Sure they are. They should be, I would say. There's another one of those little rubberized mount things. Oh, okay. We all know what that is. We've got a new throttle tube, from the handlebars. So he's got one of those as well. Maybe the old one's worn out. That's the part number for that one. Look, it's real Honda parts today. What else have we got? We're nearly there now, so if you're bored, try not to be. Two little plasticky kind of washer things. No idea what they go. And that's the part number for those. So maybe I need to get a parts manual as well so I can work out what goes where. What the hell? We've got, I'm going to speak to Alan. We've got a bag in a bag. So this bag, it's got like a sealed bag inside a bag. That's the part number. No idea why he's giving me that. We'll find out. Right. And bits of bags. Oh, and a third one of those little washery things. You can see that in there or not. That's the part number. Okay, so some pretty random parts going on here, Alan. Not really sure. Oh, a fourth washer. Okay, so there's four of those. It's got four cylinders. It's also got four indicators. So, don't know. We will find out. I'll be bagging all those up again later on, off camera, no doubt. Ooh, he's giving me some paperwork. I'm not going to show you this. Oh, the bag is for the service book. Now that's concourse, isn't it? If you put the service book back in a little bag, that's great. Okay, and they are baffles. Geez, they're not cheap. Okay. Right, put that in there as well. Okay, so we've seen what parts we've got. Pretty random stuff, to be honest. I'm sure it's going to need some other stuff. Especially if it's not had a warrant of fitness since, what was it? Last warrant was December the 31st, 2007. So that it would have been probably a 6-month warrant. No, it'd be a year. Back then, it would have been a year warrant. So it would have come off the road at the end of 2008, because that's when the last warrant ran out. So it's been off the road for about 12 years, 12 and a half years. Oh, the village is woken up. There's kids outside. You'll probably be able to hear them in the audio, no doubt, screaming and shouting and doing stupid stuff. Oh, here we go. Richard Johnson fitted Touratech crash bars to a 2020 BMW GS 750 yesterday. So must still be trading. I wonder if somebody's bought them out then. Because obviously, if they weren't around, they wouldn't have made a current model set of crash bars. I'll have to do some more research, I think, because the last I heard is they weren't around. And I did Google them to buy some more of those straps, which is hence how I found out. And their website wasn't there anymore. So, but it's a well-known name, so it would have been, the name itself would have been worth something. Jim K, do you have more ROV services to do coming up? Well, Jim, you'll be pleased to know that I got the last one that's here, at least, done yesterday, which, good segue, by the way. I fitted basically what had happened, customer complaint was, they didn't complain about the service. I serviced that unit about a year ago, and it was the oldest one on a fleet at a surf club. They got a new one shortly after I serviced it. It was serviced with a view to sell it because it was to be disposed of. They only run 3, not 4. And instead of selling it, for some unknown reason, I don't know the full story behind it, it ended up on a farm parked in a barn and left for a whole year. Just stood doing nothing. Never started, never driven, nothing. And when I finished servicing the other 3 that are on the fleet, I inquired, where is this one? Have they sold it yet? And I got told it hadn't been sold and it was on a farm and it wouldn't run. And could I take a look because they want to get it sold, and they couldn't sell it in that condition. So I went down, uplifted the vehicle, got it on the trailer, wouldn't start, so we had to winch it onto the trailer, got it back to the workshop, and it's been sat here for a few weeks waiting for parts to arrive. I ordered a new throttle cable thinking it was the throttle cable that was seized. Hadn't put a spanner on it, most likely thing. Yes, throttle cable had snapped, but the reason why it snapped wasn't due to corrosion. The butterfly in the throttle body had seized fully open for some reason. So somebody had put the foot hard on the throttle. There'd been just enough strands on the throttle cable to pull it open, and then when it got jammed or hit its maximum opening, they snapped the throttle cable. Very weird, but it was very badly corroded, was the throttle cable, and the throttle was stuck wide open. So that when they tried to start it, this is before I picked it up, it went from 0 RPM to maximum RPM in a very, very short period of time. Probably a period of time less than it took for the oil to get to the cylinder head. So it wasn't very good for the engine because it had been stood for so long as well. To go to maximum RPM straight away is very, very bad for an engine. Anyway, it seems to run okay. I've checked the oil's all good. Luckily it was at maximum because it had just been serviced. And took the throttle body off, freed off the butterfly, got it all working nicely, got rid of any kind of corrosion in there, cleaned it all out, put some grease on the quadrant and stuff, some spray grease, and worked the butterfly spindle until it would snap shut on its own really, really well. There was no resistance there at all, to be honest. Put the TPS back on, realigned that, which obviously has its own internal spring as well, so that made it even better. Put it all back on, put the throttle cable on. I fitted the throttle cable to the throttle body on the bench, which is a lot easier than trying to do it in situ because it's quite fiddly, and got it all running. And then had to do a puncture on the left rear, and I'm waiting for a footboard to arrive for the passenger side, and then it's done and it can go back. But I'll be flicking the invoice out tonight because it takes them a while to pay me normally. Now then, where are we? Nobby Noble, good morning, Nobby. Are those the Touratech ties? Are these the Touratech ties? I haven't got any to show you, but yes, I was trying to source a few years ago some more of the little Touratech tie downs, the mini tie downs that they do. And they've got Touratech. They're usually black webbing with Touratech on them. I've got a few left. I think Ben's got a few. I wanted some more because we were planning a trip. Couldn't get them. Couldn't even find the website. The website seemed to have disappeared. So I did some inquiries, and it seemed that on Google at the time it seemed like they closed down. But from what Richard's saying, they're back up and running. So maybe the company's been bought, new management, a bit more investment, and off it goes again. And great to see it trading again, to be honest. I don't know if they're still making those ties though. I'll have to check out. Keith Stevens, okay, I'm out. Have a great day. Ooh, we've got a knock on the door. Hang on, we're an hour and 8 minutes in. Hang on. Oh, what have we got? Oh my word. Thanks, honey. Did you go and get any more cigarettes? Not yet. Okay. Oh, we've got a fresh coffee. Look at that. Coffee and toast. Can't go wrong. Oh, right. So where are we? Keith Stevens. Okay, I'm out. Have a great day. Cheers, Keith. We will see you next time, sir. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. You've managed an hour and 9 minutes. It's pretty good going, to be honest. Richard Action. It's a cushion fork, according to Honda. Thank you very much, Richard. You see, the internet is a wonderful thing, and you guys are great. That saved me some looking up. So I'll looks like I'm pulling the forks out because he wouldn't have bought the parts if he didn't need them. Alan's pretty smart. In fact, he's very smart. Car Guy 72. I bought a salvage vehicle from auction a few years ago, and in the boot was a NOS Kawasaki motorbike throttle cable. I tried to find out what bike it suited, but as it's an obsolete part, Oh, so it's an obsolete part now. Well, I'm sure if you put it on, if it's no use to you, if you put it on eBay, just the part number, because if you've still got the part number printed on the cable, even if it's not in the bag, then somebody out there will be looking for that, and it will help them immensely. Richard Johnson, pilot screw washers. I don't know. Not sure. They don't look like pilot screw washers to me, but I could be wrong. We'll find out. I know the carbs need to come off it. The carbs need to be ultrasound cleaned. So that's another job. So I'll be going into the carbs, and there's going to be videos on any work that I do on this bike. There will be videos on it. I can guarantee that. Not going to miss out on that stuff. James Webber, how would a faulty air pressure sensor in the throttle body affect the engine? Would it cause a hesitation? Yes. So if your air intake pressure sensor or map sensor is faulty, then yes, it's going to affect the fueling, and that would cause hesitation for sure. But you know, you can test that. You can test your map sensor. If you get a hand vacuum gauge and get the service manual, it will give you specs as to what the voltage output should be based on pressure, or vacuum, should I say. So you can work out whether it's good or bad. You could also scope it as well. Now then, Duke of the Dales, late again. Hi, Andy. Morning, Duke of the Dales. Good to have you on board. I've just got my toast, look, and a fresh coffee. How cool is that? We've got toast. It's probably going to go. I need to finish the cigarette first. That was close. Jeez. Nobby Noble, second link down, £5 UK available. Ah, the links are not showing at this end, Nobby. I will have to investigate. That's awesome. So I can get those straps again now. Great to know. Not so good for Aerofast, because I was trying to give them a new product to sell, but maybe they can still make them, can't they? Not a problem. They can just be in competition, and then we can have them available here in New Zealand, which would be fantastic. Sergeant Joe Smith, hello Andy. Hope all is well with you and Mrs. Holly. Miss Holly. Got ATV to go fix for a customer. Talk to you later. Cheers. In and out. Look at that. You see, boom, done. So good morning, Sergeant Joe. Good to have you on board, sir. And good luck with your ATV repair, as always. Right, click to go to. No. Okay. I'll check that out. I will. Okay. Bit of toast before it gets cold. So, here's your next challenge, people. Any of you been involved with wiring up winches? I've done a fair bit over the years, and I have this. There's the part number, look. It is a worn solenoid block. Now they call it a connector block or something stupid like that, but it's actually from Warn, and it's mainly used for ATV winches. It's not particularly high current kind of relay or solenoid pack. And this one is faulty, and there's going to be a video on this that I'm going to be making today, where we're going to pull it apart best we can and test it and see what's wrong with it. I've had to replace this on a bike, and it wasn't working too well. It really wasn't. And it has got some green crusties on that black terminal there. Can you see that? There's some green crusties down the bottom. So there's obviously a lot of corrosion. It's in a high corrosive environment. I think it came off a farm bike. And customer complaint was the winch wouldn't spool in, I think it was, but every now and again it would spool out. So there's obviously a problem with the contacts, I think, inside, but we'll have a look. That's what it's all about. So last night I was Googling, and I did find it. It's got a little side quest. Oh no, that's for another terminal. I was Googling what all the colors meant, so I knew how to wire it up to test it, because you need to know how it's wired to be able to test it properly. So there you go, pretty simple. But yes, everything's on Google, isn't it, if you look hard enough. I found that about 11:30 last night. So that should be a good little video, should that. On the winches that I wired up, they had, I think they were called series, they were series wound, where you had 3 wires going to the winch motor plus your earth, and the current would flow to the from the relay pack to the motor around one lot of windings, back to the relay pack, through another buzz bar, back to the motor, and then through another series of windings, and then back. And that was the flow of the current. So you had essentially three live cables and one earth, ground, neutral, call it like. And those were a bit more technical to wire up. Looking at the wiring diagram on this, the motor only has 2 heavy cables to it. And all this relay does is it just flips the polarity. It flips the polarity between negative and positive for either side. And it's a 12-volt winch, by the way, just for your reference. Oh, I've got to the bottom of the comments. So, have you any experience, and I'm pretty sure Jim K will have, on these products? Have you had problems with them in corrosive environments? How often do they last? What usually goes wrong with them? Have you tested one before? If you have, tell me about it, because I'm about to do that on a video, and it'd be great to give some more information on that video to everybody. Young Mechanic 16, nice bike. I have a 1978 Honda CB400 that I am completely restoring. Now, the CB400, was that a 404? So it was a 4-cylinder? If it was, I used to have one of those engines. I remember buying a 404 engine complete with the carbs and the coils and everything to go into a buggy that I was building for my A-level metalwork. Unfortunately, it never got finished because they cancelled the course halfway through. And I bought that engine for £100. And I probably sold it for £100 as well. It was under the bench for years, and then eventually I sold it to somebody. I don't really remember how much I got for it, but it went to a good home. I always make sure of that things go to a good home. So, Young Mechanic, you're doing a full restoration. What parts of the bike need the most work? Are you doing an engine rebuild as well? You know, what areas of that bike really need your attention? Is it going to get the wheels respoked? I'm assuming it's got spoked wheels, given the age of the bike. Are you doing fork rebuilds? You know, about swing arm bearings? You know, what needs to be done? Have you done your assessment yet? Is it already stripped? What parts are you doing? No doubt you're probably going to paint the frame. Oh, yeah, look, we've got the old classic motorcycle mug this morning. Oh, very cool. Name those bikes. Oh, that's good. Nice hot coffee. It's not as cold in the workshop today. Things are starting to warm up a little bit here in New Zealand, at the moment at least. And well, the days are getting a bit longer, which is great. It's not pitch black in the morning when I get up, and it's not pitch black when I pack up the workshop now, which is even better. So, what else have we got to talk about? I don't know. I think I've exhausted everything I wanted to cover. Let's have a little look, see who's messaged me. Let's have a look. It's really cool to have a second phone. Oh, Benjamin. What's Benjamin been saying? He says we need one of these. Oh man, what's he like? He wants a Makita DUC 353 18 volt times 2, so 36 volt LXT brushless cordless chainsaw. He wants a chainsaw. He wants a Makita electric rechargeable chainsaw. Okay. I'll investigate. Lol. God, he's gonna hurt himself with one of those, isn't he? We used to have we have a Husqvarna chainsaw back in the UK. It was bloody good. It was a professional one. It was quite a small what do they call them? The length of the saw bit. Had a short one of those, but quite a powerful engine. So it was really good. It never used to stall out. It was awesome. A bar. That's it. Had a short bar on it. trying to talk technical now. Young mechanic 16. Fork rebuilds. Did away with the old wiring harness. Oh my word. And making a custom new one. New bearings everywhere. Painting the frame. New tyres, obviously. I really want to rebuild the engine. That's a big rabbit hole to go down. Did you get it running before you pulled it apart? Because if the engine was running fine, no smoke, bit of plenty of performance, no hesitations, no flat spots, no rattles, no knocks, no bits of metal in the oil, compression was good, you know, all that kind of stuff, then you don't need to, unless you want to. But it is a big job, and it can slow projects down tremendously if you pull the whole engine down as well. But hey, it's your call. You should know. Your Mechanic 16, just a little scared to mess something up. I know a little about them, but not a whole lot. Would love to learn though. Fabio Snake, say I love Brazil. I love Brazil. How's that? Never been to Brazil, but I love Brazil. 4 comments from Fabio. Yes, Fabio, you got what you wanted. How's that? So you can use that little sound bite. So I'll say it once more for you. Andy Mechanic loves Brazil, especially the girls in Brazil. They're very nice. So I'm led to believe by the TV anyway. You guys are funny, honestly. Right, what else have we got? Who else has messaged me this morning? I don't think anybody has, actually. Oh, what's this one? Oh, it's thinking. Bear with me. This might be the other Facebook message. Keith, yes. Keith Stevens. Let's have a look. Oh, fantastic. Good man. Right, I've got that now. We'll click on there. So I'm downloading a service manual. Oh, okay, it's all online accessible. Right, okay, so I've got what I need. Brilliant. So the K2, you see a K2 1972. And the K3 to K7 was 1973 to 1977. Okay, so 1972 is what I think that bike is then. That's where it's heading. Interesting stuff. What else have we got? Right. Thanks, Keith. Appreciate that, mate. Big help. No, nothing really of any consequence, I don't think. Just lots of comments on videos. Yeah. Right, put that away. Because it's not really very live streamish to be checking my phone on the live stream, is it? But sometimes things come through that are important. Richard Acton. Marmite on toast. It's not. Oh, it's the last piece. It's jam. Look at that. It's nice. Good job, Mrs. Mechanic. Thank you. So, in today's video, not the live stream, obviously, the one that I'm going to film, I'm going to give it a go at getting that bike fired up. I need to drain the carbs. It's got a full tank of fuel, so I don't know how old that fuel is. I might need to drain the whole tank and put fresh fuel in it. Alan has told me he's had it running recently. It ran okay, but not that well. And he's asked me to take the carburetors off and get them ultrasonic cleaned. Now, I don't have an ultrasonic cleaner here yet, although I might get one just to do this job. It could be a good excuse to buy one to improve my arsenal of equipment that I have here. In the past, I've always used the one at whichever motorcycle shop I've been working at. And not all motorcycle shops have them either, to be honest. But they are really, really good. Especially with cleaning out all the little galleries and stuff in the carbs. Stuff that you often really struggle to clean out. And you've only got to miss one, and it ain't going to run right. Simple as that. All right, crew. Well, we're at 1 hour and 24 minutes. I think by the looks of it, we're going to wrap this up at 1 hour 30. So we've got 5 more minutes for you to put through any questions. Let me just, because we've got a few new viewers that have come in now, let me just cover these mugs again. So we've got the official Andy Mechanic mug, the original one. And all these are available through Zazzle. That's www.zazzle.co.nz. Just go onto there and do a search for Andy Mechanic YouTube. That'll take you through to the official Andy Mechanic merch store. There's all sorts of stuff on there now. There's the original mug, and you can get that in a various number of different permutations. You can get a thermo mug with the, oh my word, breakfast, with the same design on it. There's also a range of Tool Girl mugs, and we've got here, these are ones that I got from my own personal collection. We've got Tool Girl Harley. There she is, looking as spiffing as ever on the old KTM. We had a great time filming that day. We've got the gorgeous Tool Girl Jade doing her car. Did a lot of work on that. Honda something or other it was. R something or other. RVR or something. And we've also got, and I went for the larger one for Lily because she's a bit of a handful. We've got Tool Girl Lilli changing tyres, and of course being daft as always. She's a great laugh in the workshop. Is old Lily. Old, wrong word. Sorry, Lily. There's also a range of Tool Girl Toolbox stickers that you can get. Now they're actually from car bumper stickers, so they're a really thick, durable material that they made them out of. You can also get those. They're not that expensive. You can get those, put them on your toolbox. And whatever you purchase to support the channel, anything that you want, grab it. When it arrives, take a picture. If you want to be in the picture, great, do a selfie. If not, just take a picture of whatever you've purchased, be it a toolbox sticker, take a picture of your toolbox with it on. Send it through on an email to andymechanic@live.co.uk. And I'll put you in the draw to win a ton of stuff. It's a really good prize pack. There's some Tang Tools stuff in there, which includes a 1/4-inch drive socket set that I'm putting in. Tang themselves are going to put some stuff in as well. Some Forge stuff, some sprays, lubricants, all that kind of thing. And I'm also going to throw some Andy Mechanic merch in there, which will include an official Andy Mechanic jacket, which is the same jacket that I wore when I was filming the ratchet strap video. So it won't be that jacket, it'll be exactly the same as that jacket, but I won't get it made up until I know who wins. So I've got your sizes. So there you go, drop onto Zazzle, grab whatever you want. It should be with you depending on where you are in the world. Some have arrived within a week, some have taken 6 weeks. These mugs arrived in New Zealand in about 3 weeks for shipping, so it wasn't too bad, I thought, for getting them made up and shipped to sunny old New Zealand, because it's quite a trek over here. Now, what else have we got? Any more comments? Are you all going quiet? You've all gone really quiet now. What are we on? 1 minute, well, 1 hour 28. We've got 2 more minutes to go. Oh, here we are. Brandon, do you get entered more when additional photos are sent? Well, what I would say to you is if you buy more than one item, send a separate photo for each item. And yes, of course, you would then get 2. If you buy 2 items, then you would get 2 places in the draw, essentially sort of 2 tickets, so to speak. Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. I think that's quite fair. But the draw is going to be in December this year, so you've got plenty of time to save up and for the products to arrive well in advance of that draw. But please do remember to send through your photo. It's sending the photo through that puts you into the draw, not purchasing the mug. Very important fact. So if you haven't yet sent through a photo, and I know there's lots of people out there that have bought merch but haven't yet sent through their photos, and I'll always reply to your email. So if you've sent through a picture via email and I haven't replied to you, then it might have disappeared into like a spam folder or something. So contact me in another means and make me aware that you've sent me this your email through, and I'll have a dig around and try and find it. And ideally tell me when you sent it, or resend it, and I'll keep my eye open for it. But no, it's going to be a great little competition, I think, and it's going to be quite a sizable pack that I'll be sending out. Certainly worth, I would say, between about 500 to 1,000 New Zealand dollars of stuff in that pack. It's not been completely finalised as to exactly what's going to be in there yet. The prize fund is growing. I might even twist Aerofast's Eddie down there to throw in a couple of ratchet straps at the same time. That'd be quite a cool thing, wouldn't it? Get your name put on the ratchet straps. Okay, crew. Well, I think we're about there, really. Comments have dried up. I've got loads of work to do. It's been really good catching with you chaps again today. Sorry, eating breakfast as always. Any last questions before I go? Clock's ticking. Go on, you can do it. Machine NZ. Hi, Andy. We're just about to sign off. Good morning, Machine NZ. It's good to have you on board, matey. I'm going to go. It's as quick as that. Right. Okay, crew. Thanks again for watching. And don't forget, drop onto that Zazzle store and at least check out all the new merch that's on there as well. There's new products going on probably every week. Check it all out. If there's something that takes you fancy, get it ordered and then send me a selfie through, with that product, and I'll put you in that draw for December. And you might win some serious gear. It's pretty cool. Just started watching. We'll watch the rest later. Graham McLucky, what year is the Honda? Well, at this point in time, I think it's a 1971. It's a CB700 K2, and I think the K2 was only available in 1971. So I think that's what it is. I've got the chassis number, so I'm going to verify that with Honda New Zealand, just so we know exactly what we're looking at. And I'm going to try and get the service manual for it, which will then, in PDF format or even a paper format. And if it's PDF, I'll get it printed. So when I'm doing the videos, I can refer back to that printed manual and include all the specs of whatever repairs we're doing. Initially this morning, I'm going to be doing a video just covering the overall inspection of the bike to see, what problems it's got that need to be resolved for the bike to go through compliance and be registered again or re-registered for New Zealand, because Alan has told me, the owner of the bike has told me it's been deregistered. I'm not entirely sure it has, but I need to find out. Matowix, does it run? Where did you get it? Well, I've been told they have had it running. It doesn't run great. The carbs need to be thoroughly cleaned, so we're going to get those ultrasonic cleaned. That's one of the jobs. Oh, I'm snivelling this morning. That's better. So once that's done, it should run just fine. That's the plan. It's not my bike. It belongs to a very nice chap called Alan, who has a collection of motorcycles. And I've got realistically about 4 months to get this bike to a condition where it's going to be road legal and safe to ride, because his son's coming over to New Zealand. Hopefully, all depends on the whole COVID thing, doesn't it? But hopefully he's going to come across in December, and they're going to go for a ride around New Zealand. So it needs to be reliable and safe and legal. So I've got a bit of work to do. Re-registering is expensive. It is. I've done a few bikes. I used to work for a company in Auckland, a motorcycle shop that did actually bring a few bikes in from the States. And so I'm pretty familiar with the process required. I also have contacts in the certification world. Some very good friend of mine who will help me through that process for this particular bike as well. So it shouldn't be too hard. It is expensive, and you've got to make sure you've got all the right paperwork in place before you start. Otherwise, it can really drag on, and you can get to a point where you've still got to pay them, but they can't complete the process because you're missing a particular document. So it's important that you make sure you've got everything you need before you start. Otherwise, it may not happen, but you still get a bill, basically. But no, usually about $600 to $800 New Zealand is normally what it would take to get a bike complied. It's usually a little bit less if the bike's already been registered here in New Zealand, which this one has been. In actual fact, the number plate that's on the bike is still on CarJam as a live number plate, which sort of goes against what I've been told, that it's been deregistered, because if it's been deregistered, then when you put the number plate in, it just comes up not recognized. So don't know what's going on there. Need to check with Alan very, very quickly. If it has been put on hold, maybe the on hold status could just be renewed, because usually it takes a year from when the on hold status expires to when they deregister the bike. So we might be in that period of time where he would just need to pay the back regio and put it back on hold again. And if that's the case, that's a far better solution than going through compliance. Much easier. The bike would just need a warrant of fitness. Yes, Machine NZ, cool trip to the ratchet strap business. It was really, really good fun. I found it very insightful, very interesting. And you know, the care and dedication that team have of producing a good quality product as well, that, you know, really opened my eyes. And the investment as well. There's a lot of money. You know, they each of those machines that produce the webbing, about 120,000 New Zealand dollars, and they had 4 of those. You know, plus all the other equipment as well. You know, it's not a cheap setup. And they've been making straps for many, many years, and they have a very good reputation for producing an excellent quality ratchet strap. So I was very, very pleased when they allowed me into the workshop. You know, it's not often companies will allow someone in who's just got a little tiny YouTube channel like mine to go and see, you know, how it's made. And it was really interesting. And I'm hoping that video, you know, proves quite popular. At the moment, it hasn't had that many views, which I was a bit disappointed about, but that might have been how I marketed it, or when I released it, or what, I just don't know. But hey, time will tell. And I enjoyed it. It was, you know, it was definitely worth going down, just for my own sake, to be honest, just to meet the guys and build some new contacts as well, to be honest. PX2, how much do you pay the women? Asking, how much do you pay women? Pay the women asking for a friend. I'm assuming, PX2, that you're talking about the Tool Girls. Yes, there's no secret. They do get paid. I mean, when they're coming down to do a day's filming, it is work for them. And it's only fair, you know, they're taking time out, you know, to do the filming for us. And I have to compensate them accordingly. I don't think it's professional to mention how much I pay them for a day. Although I will say that they're well looked after. They're very happy with what they get paid, and I believe it's a fair amount for a day's work. Plus, you know, it's quite clear that they enjoy being down doing what they do. They wouldn't travel all the way down from Auckland to do just a few hours filming, that's then travel all the way back to Auckland, if they didn't actually enjoy doing what we do in the workshop. Both Lily and Holly, great tool girls, really have a lot of fun with both of them in the workshop. And the other girls that have been down as well, again, great fun to work with, and a pleasure to have them here helping me, for sure. Okay, crew, well, I think we've run over a little bit of time, but that was fine. We had something else to talk about. I'll be back on the old live stream again next Sunday, 8:30 a.m. New Zealand time, whatever that equates to in your part of the world. You have to work it out. I'm sure most of you know anyway. Don't forget to drop onto the old Zazzle store, and if you do buy something, please send me through a selfie or even a picture of your mug or whatever it is, or a toolbox sticker on your toolbox, and I will include you in the draw that'll be held in December to win some 10 tools, socket sets and other bits and pieces, some Forge product, and of course some more free and mechanic merch, including one of the really nice black jackets. Okay, chaps, well, I've got to get back on the tools. Lots to do. Got this bike to inspect, and it's going to be a video, so I will see you around. Thanks for joining me, and yeah, stay safe. See you soon. Cheers. Over and out.